Hello, and welcome to the Knit, Sip, Happy podcast. My name is Nancy. I'm coming to you from the east coast of Canada, just outside of Moncton, New Brunswick. Welcome back. It is January 5th, 2024. It is a Friday afternoon. There's stories to tell. Let's have a sip. It's been a long day already. Before I go any further, I'm going to put a picture up here, a little screenshot of where you can find me on all the places on the internet. I am Knit, Sip, Happy everywhere. All of the links will be down below in the description box. If you click on more, it'll drop down. All my Ravelry pages will be linked. All of the makers I talk about will be linked if I can, and where you can find me will also be there. So I had to get that official stuff out of the way before I go off-piste as I do. It is Friday, January 5th, so it is in 2024. It is my first episode of the new year, my first episode since Vlogmas. I haven't been here with a podcast since the beginning of December because Vlogmas kind of took over and I really enjoyed it. If you were here with me for Vlogmas, thank you. If you found me through Vlogmas, welcome. And this is going to be a little more traditional with my showing off my knitting, crochet, spinning, crafting content. So yeah, it's been a race today. I worked a half a day today. My lovely coworker is finishing off the day so that I could sneak out early. I've been working all week and with the holidays, and Brad was away for a couple of days, and it's just been a hectic few days. I had no groceries in the house, or nothing that was healthy that I should be eating at this point in January. Hang on. So we got finished at work about 2 o'clock and raced through the grocery store, which was packed. It's a Friday afternoon, and it's the last day of holidays for a lot of people before they go back to work on Monday. The kids go back to school on Monday, so it's the last holiday day, and boy, can you tell, traffic and the stores are packed. So we got the groceries done, got them Brad very kindly unpacked while I gathered up my basket of goodies. I'm going to put in a picture here. I took a basket, a very precariously heaped basket full of things to show you today. So what I'm wearing, I'm not wearing a knit garment. It was very cold today, so I'm multiple layered. I've got a long sleeve t-shirt, a commercial kind of lacy all over cardigan, and my shift cowl. It's a lot of layers for me to be when I'm podcasting. I tend to overheat, so we'll see how we go. But knock on wood, I've not had a hot flash in over a month. I don't know if it's just a hormonal flux phase or they're going to come back, but I am enjoying sleeping through the night again. Hallelujah. And I'm not hot flashing right now. So if you're of a certain age, you will understand my plight, but my current joy in my situation. So first things first, we have some outstanding prizes that still haven't been claimed. So back in episode 26, I do believe, I had a giveaway for the Coastal Drift Mitten pattern. This is the only one left, the Cascade BFL DK, and a cute little brick bubble. Right way up would be helpful. Pin. So Helen Hyatt, I still haven't heard from you. This is going to be last call on this one. If I haven't heard from you by the next time I podcast, which will be towards the end of January, I'll be redrawing this prize. So that's January 2024. I'll be recording in 3 or so weeks. So we're coming into the end of January. I'll be redrawing for this one at the end of January. So that is outstanding. The other thing I have that is outstanding, when I was here last on episode 28, I announced a winner. I was hoping to do a quick turnaround on this one. It was the beautiful chestnut fiber Snowman bag, the sweater weather from Tiny Human Knits. This project bag also came with a needle cozy and some fun stickers. And I was really hoping to get these out to somebody before Christmas, but I didn't hear from the winner. So I'm going to announce it again here too, and I'll put it on the screen. Gail Weeks, you were the winner of this package that I announced in the beginning of December. So please reach out to me, both winners, both Helen and Gail. The email linked below, I'll also put it on the screen. If you message me, I will get these out as soon as I am able to. But please reach out because I don't want to have to redraw. This one I will probably leave. I'll probably leave it to the next podcast because this has only been since the beginning of December. The other one was done in November. So Gail Weeks for this one, Helen Hyatt for this one, and Coastal Drift Mittens pattern by the lovely Njord. Okay. The other thing that I owe you that I forgot to put in the last episode was the picture of the sweater scarf by Knititude, the Snowfall sweater scarf. It looks like this side is going to be my side for pictures today. So this is the modeled picture from the pattern, and Samantha very kindly had a coworker help her. They took some pictures back early in December, and I forgot to add them to the last podcast. So I'm going to insert them here, either beside me or over my face. I'm just going to talk through it. I'd had a few people asking how Sam was enjoying wearing it, if it fit, if it was sliding, or so. She's been wearing it now for several weeks, and the reports are good. She likes the way it fits. It's not moving around too much. We had hemmed up a little bit higher onto her bicep. Originally, I think it was only supposed to be elbow, so we had hemmed that sleeve ribbing up a little higher. So she says it doesn't move around too much, and she really likes it. That's good. I hope she gets a lot of wear out of it. Yes, so that's outstanding pictures that I owed you. If I haven't mentioned, it's just after 4, it's about 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon. So I do have artificial light on and my ring light because I'm going to be losing the outdoor light rather rapidly. It's beautiful. It's been beautiful and sunny, but burr cold today. Very, very cold. So I have a number of FOs, a good selection of whips, some spinning. We're going to have a little chit chat. I've got some acquisitions, some were gifts, some I bought. So shall we get going into the nitty content, and I will ramble along about other things as they come into my mind. I try to think I will do a chat section at the end, but I end up chatting all the way through. So if you've been here before, you know that. So I'm going to start off with my Advent projects. I finished both of my Advent daily projects. Loved them both. I'm going to show you this one first because it's kind of on top and blocking everything. This is a crochet granny square blanket that I knit using my self-made Advent. Earlier in October, I do believe, I used scraps from a mini swap or minis from swaps or prizes or things that I'd kept to use for an Advent calendar. And I showed that during Vlogmas. I showed opening those every morning. So this was the Advent that was in the box and the bags. So I had 2 10-gram minis that I opened every day. So I crocheted 2 granny squares per day. I was holding the fingering weight double with itself. So I wound it up into a little cake, and then I just pulled from the inside and the outside of the cake to hold the yarn double. And then I used undyed fingering weight yarn that was very kindly gifted to me by Deborah of Yarn Indulgences to do the border and the join as you go method. So I will show you, but I'll also put in some pictures. So I am really, really happy with this and the way it turned out. Because I was opening, I had 48 squares. I did 6x8 squares. Used the Sandra Cherry Heart tutorials for both the granny square and the join as you go method. And I really like the back as well. I think you can, I don't know if you can see when you join it, there's a raised, there we go. There's a raised kind of chain type look, and I really like that as well. So as I said, for most days I did really well. I kept up. I crocheted 2 squares a day. I did 5 round grannies, and I did one round of the natural undyed color. And then for the border, let me back up a little bit. Oh, my color's gone off because I was blowing out the camera. Hello. Are you going to come back to normal? Okay. We'll see. Some of the grannies, I didn't have quite enough yarn to finish it because it was thicker yarn. So 10 grams of a slightly thicker fingering weight yarn didn't go as far. So I couldn't get to my 5 rounds. So some of my grannies have an extra round of neutral or part round of the natural color, which is fine. It's a scrappy blanket. And then other ones I had leftovers because they were a finer, lighter fingering, and I had leftovers. So as I was going, I was making a magic knot ball. I can't remember if I took a picture of that or not. But I was making a magic knot ball of the leftovers as they came up. And I used that magic knot ball to add into the border. Let's find a nice, easy. So this round right here. So this is the neutral border, and then the second round, I used that magic knot ball and I held it double with the undyed and created a border just with the leftovers of the magic knot ball. I only had, I think, 4 grams left of the magic knot ball, so I was really happy with that. So I fundamentally used 480 grams, all done, out of my stash and into something useful. Yay. And then I grabbed some scrap DK out of my stash and I crocheted another round of grannies. I did another round. Is that neutral or still magic knot? Hang on. Oh, that's still magic knot. Thought I'd only done 1. No, I did 2. Okay. Come on. Work with me here. There it is. So this is the neutral round of the actual granny. This is the magic knot held with the neutral for the border. This is some DK I held single. This is also the magic knot ball held with the neutral. And then another granny in a slightly darker shade of DK. And then I went on Attic 24, who is the crochet guru, and Lucy, and found a border that I wanted to use. So I think this is called the Spot On. Spot On, I think. And that was really fun to do. And I pulled a 3rd DK. This is actually the DK that I used in my Sliptastic sock design to finish it off. And I love it. I was worried it was going to be too small. It's actually the perfect lap size for me sitting on the couch. It kind of covers me from waist down past my toes while I'm sitting on the couch. It's a perfect 1-person blanket, and I'm thrilled to have all of this out of stash and into something useful. So that was my first Advent success. My second Advent project was the Freckled Whimsy Stripe a Day. I had already shown you this, I think, because I was here at the beginning of December. So I won this Freckled Whimsy 2023 Advent self-striping skein from the Grocery Girls. So I had messaged both Jody and Tracy and Carrie of Freckled Whimsy to say thank you so much for the prize because it was truly appreciated. Oh, look, my sock needle is still in this bag. Oh, there's actually 2 of them. Need to put those away for this bag. I think probably I hadn't because leftovers. So I wound up the yarn into 2 cakes so I could work the socks concurrently on 2 separate needles. Normally I would do 2 at a time on 1 large circular, and this time I decided to try it on 2 32 centimeter Hyatt steel sock needles, which are one of my favorites. The cord's a little stiff, but the needle and the join is just excellent. So I completed these socks between Christmas and New Year's because it's fluff. So there are two. I'm just going to put one down and walk you through it. So if you watch Vlogmas, some of this will be repeats and I apologize. Normally I would cast on the ribbing the day before Advent started in the contrast color and knit the rib in the contrast. I either didn't have time or wanted to do something different this time. I can't remember. I cast on in the contrast, did one round of ribbing, and then changed to the stripe a day. And then this was December 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then I got into the pattern. And I was going to do vanilla, but one of my testers, she's tested a couple of my patterns, Catherine, showed me a picture in messages on Instagram. She couldn't show it publicly for, I can't remember why, Catherine, sorry, that she was using my Smoke Gets in Your Eyes and adapting it to fit the self-striping pattern. And I thought, genius. So that is what I did. So at the color change, I started the pattern. It's just a simple 2-pattern repeat with stockinette in between, a little cable without a cable needle. This is the sock. The Smoke Gets in Your Eyes sock is how this channel started, because I needed a video tutorial for this 3-stitch cable without a cable needle, and it didn't exist. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I created the YouTube channel and did the tutorial, had a glass of wine, and started podcasting. So that's how this all started in the summer of 2022. So I am thrilled. If somebody had shown me this color palette or described it to me, I would have gone, no, I don't think it's for me. I love it. It's kind of got an old-fashioned vintage feel to it. I have regrets. When I switched from the ribbing, I did not do the stitch pattern in there, and I do have regrets on that. But we're gonna move on. It's done. So 24 was here. So this was Christmas Eve, and obviously because I didn't do the ribbing, and I also did a heel flapping gusset, which used up more yarn in here as the gusset decreases were happening. This was day 24. So during Twixtmas, so Christmas Day, Boxing Day, 27th, I can't remember what day I picked these back up again, but I finished them in one shot and got it to my size, and I love them. Samantha also loved them. So the leftovers will be going into a pair of shorties for her, or as long as I can make them. I'll probably do them toe up. I'll probably do the Smoke Gets in Your Eyes pattern again because she really liked it, and for me it helped pass the time. Self-stripe one a day is hugely, onerous or difficult to do. You can see this dark turquoise stripe is a little bit thinner because of the gusset, but overall I'm quite happy using that gusset in the contrast. I don't think it interrupted it too much. So that is my finished Advent makes. And then I cast on a pair of colorwork, my first all-over colorwork socks. I had talked about these, I had talked about these last time I was here. I'm looking at Sam's wedding dress hanging in my craft room closet. I have to take that to work tomorrow because she's coming to pick it up. She has her first wedding dress fitting and she forgot to take it home after Christmas. So Brad is going to drive halfway to Fredericton. She's going to drive halfway to Moncton, and they're going to pass the dress off. And I need to remember to put it somewhere so we don't forget it tomorrow morning before we go to work. Ding, ding. As I'm editing me will appreciate that reminder in a few hours. Okay, easy peasy socks. My first all-over colorwork socks, I was knitting it in Sweet Skein of Mine, being boho. I put it on Instagram and said happy hippie. That was wrong. It is being boho. This pretty soft pink. I used it in my Orbits sweater that I finished earlier in the spring of 2023. And a skein of my handspun. So let me show you what this looks like. I am very happy with this finish. This is Editing Nancy from the future. I am telling you big fibs all over this pair of socks. It was a 2.75 millimeter needle that I used for gauge for the body of the sock. It calls for a 3 millimeter. I used a 2.75 millimeter, 2.5 for the rib, 2.75 for the body, because my gauge is looser. So whenever I say 2.5 millimeter, I'm telling you fibs, it's a 2.75 millimeter. Sorry for the mix up. My gauge is looser on 9-inch circulars, and the pattern suggested 2.75 millimeter needles for the body of the sock. I did 2.5 millimeter needles, and I'm happy they fit really nicely. So let's, without further ado, so I have two. They do look slightly different because of the hand spun, but actually, there's quite a bit. This low contrast section is quite low contrast on both of them. So this is my first sock. I was not happy with the heel pickup at all. It's a little bit messy. So this is a free pattern by Krupa Knits. It'll be linked below. The heel instructions and the toe instructions I found a little lacking in description. I ended up fudging the toe quite a bit to get it to work. The heel was okay, but the pickup instructions again were a little... I don't even have anything mohair on the needles, but oh my word. So I have my first all over pair of colorwork socks, and they fit. So this is the join in the round. So you can see there's a little bit of a disruption, but overall not too bad. And then this is the good side, so to speak. Yeah, so super, super happy with these. I will definitely do it again. Yeah, I'll definitely do it again. A different pattern. Knowing that I can do this, I got some good stretch. My floats are good all the way through. Sometimes one by one can be quite tight, but I say the fit is great. My big fear with colorwork socks, my gauge is always so good at 2.25 millimeter needles. I was always afraid to go up so many needle sizes to get the fit, to get the stretch that I needed, but I have zero regrets. The fit is great, and this is my recipe now. 2.5 millimeter needles for the body of the sock in colorwork on the ChiaoGoo 9-inch circulars. I know a lot of people have issues or feelings about the 9-inch circulars, and they do take some time for your hands to get used to, but they are so good for the small circumference color work. The problem with magic loop in color work is that the floats hover across the needle join, and it can distort the color work, either make it too loose or too tight. So 9-inch circulars, being able to work in the round all the way for your color work and not magic loop, changes your tension. I've done colorwork mittens and started on magic loop and had all kinds of issues. As soon as I moved to the 9-inch circulars, they were amazing, genius. But they do take time to learn. I was talking to somebody online. Was it you, Diane? I think I was talking to somebody, and they were really struggling, like it was like a job. They were forcing themselves to try and work on the 9-inch circulars. If it's like that, just move on. If you want to do color work in the small circumference, you can make magic loop work. For me, it was more of a struggle learning on the 9-inch circulars, 10 minutes at a time, several times a week, working on a project just to get my hands used to working on those small needles. And yeah, I love them. Love them. Use them quite a bit. So, do I have anything else to say about these socks other than the fact I can now start wearing them because I've shown them on the podcast? As much as the toe was a pain in the butt to try and get the numbers, I couldn't get the numbers to match. I love the look of it. Love, love, love. I'll show you the front. Yeah. Super happy. So that was a December project. Totally not selfish, but just for me. Granny Square. I knit my mum a pair of Pioneer gloves. I don't have an FO picture. I gifted them to her and didn't take any pictures for Ravelry. But what I will do is I'll either put up some video here from Vlogmas where I was showing them, or I'll try and take some screenshots from that video and put them here. Pioneer Gloves is a free fingerless mitt glove pattern, fingerless mitt pattern. I was looking for something with ribbing that would be quite snug to her hand. She's having arthritis pain in her knuckles and wanted something to keep her hands warm. So I did the rib extra long up to come up almost to her fingertips, that she could roll it up or fold it back to make it useful. And she was came in to talk to me today and said that she loved them, but they were getting loose. So I told her just swizzle them through a little bit of light Dawn dish soapy cool water, roll them up into a towel and squeeze them and lay them on the heater. They'll be dry in the morning. They'll be sucked right back in. The joy of ribbing. But I am going to knit her a pair in some sock yarn with some nylon on a smaller needle to see if I can't suck it in a little bit more for her. I used actually this gray hand spun. It was a John Arbon fiber that I used. As I said, my Ravelry page will be linked below. I don't know if I put that in there because it was hand spun, but it was a John Arbon 3-ply Corriedale, Falkland Merino. That's ringing a bell. That's ringing a bell. Falkland Merino. And I still have some left, but I don't think I have the bag to hand, do I? No, I don't. Yeah, so that was a quick gift knit, even though I wasn't doing gifts in December. It was a quick one. The other thing I finished in December is I did heels. I separated tubes and did heels and toes of my All Sorts socks. So this is Turtle Pearl. The colorway is All Sorts, Licorice All Sorts inspired. And this is my out and about knitting that I took to England and Scotland. So a lot of my pictures have me at the pub, in a queue, on a train, knitting this tube, which, so they hold a lot of memories, which is fun. So I separated the tube, put in toes and heels in black. I did an afterthought heel. I did 5 or 6 plain, I think 6 plain rounds of knitting before I started doing decreases. So my afterthought heel, 6 plain rounds, decrease, 4 rounds, decrease, 3 rounds, decrease, 2 rounds, decrease, 1 round, decrease, until I got to 18 stitches, I do believe. And then decrease every round, do a rapid decrease to make it a little rounder and not pointy. And I will have that in my Ravelry page. I have a rough note in there with that. By the time you see this, I will have that cleaned up with the exact instructions. And that makes the heel quite a bit deeper to give more space across that widest part of our feet. So that is another finished, and I will show you the tube and the separation stuff that's coming up in WIPs, but I thought you might be interested to see if I could get it now. You'll have seen the picture of my basket, which, as I said, was rather precariously packed with, I reverse pack it. So things I need at the end are at the bottom, things I need in the middle, the WIPs are in the middle, the FOs are on the top, and it's all kind of piled in. So this is my lovely Creative Knitter project bag that is holding my Licorice All Sorts. So that's the end of FOs. Ding. New chapter. So we're now into WIPs. So I had 2 tubes of this turtle pearl. Turtle pearl yarn comes in 2 50-gram skeins. And so I had knit 2 tubes, and I got so lucky. Emily is a genius. The colors matched on each end. So I just did ribbing on each end. And if I was smarter when I was doing this, I would have put the heels on both on the same side to make it easier to show you. I decided normally I do separate them and do the toes first, but I needed a second 2.25 millimeter needle. I didn't have one to hand, so I was lazy and I just decided to pick up the heel. I knew where to pick up the heel because I'm picking it up in exactly the same spot as I did on the first pair. So this is the afterthought heel. I use, oh my goodness, I've got Freckle Whimsy on my mind, but that's not who it is. I'll put it on the screen. There's a YouTube video for afterthought heels that I use. Yeah, so I have 2 heels ready to go. So I just need to separate, this black line here. Separate the 2 toes, or the 2 socks, and then knit the toes, and I will have a second pair. So next time you see me, I should have this pair finished. The problem is it's January in the Northern Hemisphere and it gets dark really early, and my eyes, trying to keep track of decreases in black yarn, it's a challenge. So I'm really having to work on them through the day when I can see. I don't have any of those fancy around the neck lights. It's also a function sometimes I find I have progressive contact lenses as well as progressive glasses, and the progressive contact lenses, the vision close up isn't quite as good. So I need to be wearing my glasses, which ironically is usually in the evening. So these kind of did languish for a while, but now I feel like I'm almost there. I need to finish them. So hold me accountable. This will be finished next time you see me at the end of January-ish. Okay, let's get back to Christmas and do my Christmas Eve cast on. I didn't work Christmas Eve this year. I was lucky. I had our store closed on the 23rd of December. If you watch Vlogmas, you will have seen I did a vlog up until the end of Christmas Eve, and then edited Christmas morning and uploaded the last one on Christmas morning. Actually, I think I might have chatted to you on Christmas morning. It's all a blur. So, Christmas Eve cast on. I showed you this last time. It's a sock set from Lily and Pine. It's the colorway Fireworks on our Daylily sock. I don't know if this color is available from Lily and Pine, but I have been working away. This is the yarn. Let's let that camera blow out. Come on, that's it. It's perfect. So it's these kind of light greeny yellows with the blues, with the shots of the hot pink running through it with the hot pink mini. And I decided to knit my Swiss dot shorty pattern. So I had been seeing the lovely Allie of This Little Wonderful Life and Little Drops of Wonderful. I had knit a pair, Becky from Back to Blighty had also knit a really fun pair longer using some color changing yarn. And I was worried that this yarn was going to pool. And I thought, well, I need a fun way to break up the pooling. And the Swiss dot shorties should do that with the wrap stitches. Hang on, is that, yeah, that's the bad side. Not the bad side. Let's blow that out a little bit. Hang on. Come on, there we go. So I'm working, it's worked cuff down with the contrast cast on, 1 round of ribbing, and then you start the patterning with this striping, these little pearl bump stripes. So you can see the hot pink kind of interrupts things a little bit, but I just love the way these little wrap stitches and a field of pink with this, or the field of, you know, it just, yeah, Really, really happy with the way this has turned out. You know, I got this hot pink little dot with the background. And you can see on the sole of the foot, you can see where the pooling is happening. I do have the 2-stripe contrast color in there, but you could see where pooling was going to happen. So I'm really pleased, really pleased. So this first one has not been blocked, but I've got one sock finished. The second one is on the needles. I've passed the heel turn, and I've got, I think I counted last night, I think I have 2 more pattern repeats to do to get to the toe. Yeah, really happy. This is going to be such a joyful pair of socks. And I think I talked about this in Vlogmas. What I'm doing because of the join, where the rounds change, because when we knit in the round, we're knitting in a spiral. We're not knitting in rows specifically. So the pattern kind of offsets itself a little bit. So it's a little disjointed compared to the other side where it's nice and smooth. So what I did on the first sock was I picked up the heel as per instructions in the pattern. You knit the front of the sock, then you do the heel on the back of the sock. And then on the second sock, I reversed that. I knit the heel on the front of the sock. So that makes this seam per se they'll be on opposite sides. So instead of having them both on the right hand side of the sock, one is on the right, one is on the left. So I'll be able to wear them on the inside where it's going to be less visible. Again, it's not a big deal because really who's looking that closely at your legs or your feet, but it's just a little thing for me visually that makes me happier with my project. So that's what I've done. So the join is on different sides. Yeah. So that's my Christmas Eve cast on. It's living in my really cute chestnut fiber bag, sheepy bag. And I haven't been showing my bags for anything else. Well, I lie. I did. I showed you Creative Knitter. I didn't show you them for my FOs. Fluff on my lip. And so how are your holidays? I just need a minute to breathe. Ours were fairly quiet. We had Sam and Archie with us for 5 days. It was very mild. We took a couple of very muddy walks up in our backwoods. It was like spring back there with, you know, puddles this deep. So Archie is Springer Spaniel with a white undercarriage mostly. He had to keep getting bathed because he was disgusting. He was too muddy. He wasn't coming in my house looking like that. He was living his best life. He got spoiled by Brad, loves to feed him terrible things. He got the most delightful rampages through the woods, and yeah, we had a nice Christmas break. Our son Zach and his partner Cassandra were over with us on Christmas Eve for games and puzzles. Christmas Day they were with her family, so we just had the quiet day with the 3 of us. We were working on the family jigsaw puzzle, and Rob was in Latvia. Samantha's fiance is in Latvia serving with the Canadian Armed Forces, and he was able to FaceTime, and we propped him up while we were working on the puzzle. And chit-chatted, and it was nice. It felt like he got to spend a little bit of time with us, which was really nice. We had an Indiana Jones movie with our dinner. We had Christmas nachos. We made barbecue chicken nachos in the oven on Christmas Day. And then Boxing Day, Zach and Cassandra came back over, and we had our real turkey dinner. So I said, we're lucky we don't have little ones. Well, lucky we don't have little ones in our life right now, so it doesn't really matter what day we do the traditions, as long as we do the traditions at some point over the holidays. So okay, let's carry on to the next whip, which isn't on my no it is. I was gonna say it's not on my list. Yes, it is. This is in a Slipped Stitch Studio bag that I won on a podcast giveaway. I think I'm trying to remember who I won this from. Amber, Yarn Hoarder, when she was doing sock knit-alongs. I won this cute little bag, and it was perfect for my Musselburgh hat. I cast this on late November, early December in some hand spun, just when I needed easy, mindless, on the go, with company kind of knitting. So I've been knitting it as if Brad is driving, if we're out together. So it's a little bit like I have the theme song of Driving Miss Daisy in my head when I think about this project now. And you know what caused that? We watched The Holiday, and Jack Black sits there in the video store and starts singing, humming, doodling to all of the different soundtracks, movie soundtracks, and you did Driving Miss Daisy, and it's been in my head ever since with this project. So this is my Musselburgh hat, knit in some hand spun. It was already caked up. I don't have the information on it because the tag is obviously long gone. I have this much left in this messy cake. So I'm coming to probably got another couple of inches before I do the decreases. So the Musselburgh hat by Isolde Teague seems to be having another big moment on Instagram. I'm seeing them everywhere. Scrappy ones and stripy ones, and yeah. The cast on is a bit of a faff. It's a small pinhole style cast on, but there is an end that you can close up any hole, which I need to do before I start the decreases. I need to turn it inside out and do that. But yeah, this is for me. And I love that kind of self-stripy tonal funness that is handspun. So that's making me very happy. I was working on it a little bit today. Brad had to come into work. One of our staff called in sick today, so Brad stepped in and finished his work. He was working on the wines in the back. They need to have certain jobs done to them through the winemaking process. So Brad did that today while I was out front helping customers, and we were taking Amanda, my lovely coworker, was taking the Christmas decorations down and de-Christmasing the store while I was doing the wah-wah bookkeeping. I had fiscal year-end stuff to send off to the accountant, and I finally got it done and dusted and sent off to him, which is a huge relief until he emails me or calls me and says, I have questions. What's this? What's that? What's this? And I'm like, I don't know. It was months ago. Hopefully there won't be too many of those. I've been doing books like this, bookkeeping for small businesses that we've owned for this is my 25th year. You'd think I'd be better at it. And I'm really not, because I really don't like doing it. Okay. And I know I could hire somebody, but it's important for me to do it. To see, you don't need that speech. Moving on to the knitting and the fun things. I cast on the 27th or 28th. I thought, okay, it's time to start Christmas knitting. Don't throw anything at the screen. This is how I get stuff done. I'd like to get the man socks done early because they're big. They're 72 stitches and they're big-footed. So I like to get them done early. So I'm working on a 9-inch circular. Oh, isn't that pretty? This is for my son, Zach. So I'm just using some fun commercial, very important for him. He doesn't hang his socks to dry. They have to be dryer proof. And I know anyway, this is rabbity. I was talking to Sophie from Cozy Meadow Knits last week, and she was saying, oh, she had to podcast. And I was saying how much easier Vlogmas was because they were short and they were easier to edit and upload and get out into the world faster. These big, long episodes are a bear to get uploaded in a timely manner. But I just keep on talking. I'm looking at the time already, and it's like, yeah, duh. Okay, back to the knitting. Sorry, guys. And this is Wacky Sacky. I have never tried this yarn before. I found it at La Violette Yarn Gift & Co. when she was open in Bucktouche. Colorway is Wild Woods, and it's 462 yards for 100 grams, 50% superwash merino, 25% bamboo, 25% nylon. So it's this really nice kind of self-patterning, self-striping Regia style yarn. And all I've done is I've just put a garter panel down each side to, again, because you know my dislike for vanilla socks. I need something going on just to keep me engaged so I don't end up scrolling on Instagram for hours. So I have put in a contrast heel, which is showing a little brighter than it actually is. It's a little deeper in the tan range, but I found this in Stash. It's a Knit Pick Stroll Fingering, and I'm working down the foot. I'm soon going to be ready for the toe, I do believe. He has a size 10 men's foot, so I just need to give that a measure, which is why it's kind of, I haven't worked on it this week because I need to measure it and do the toe, which means changing to magic loop. So it's kind of not gotten done. And this one is living in my Paradise Island little sheepy bag that I got at the KW Yarn Festival, KW Fiberfest, KW Kitchener-Waterloo in Ontario back in 2019. Yes. 2019. No. 2017. Yep. 2017. Now I'm doubting myself. My husband had a surgery in 2018. Maybe it was 2018. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You don't care. Rambly, rambly, rambly. In my oh so favorite, always popular, I love a good fingering knitting bag, is the West Yorkshire Spinners Fairy Light socks that I was knitting as a Christmas gift, and I realized I didn't have enough yarn to make them the size I needed to. So these will be going into the gift pile for somebody next year. They're a 56 stitch, so it's a little skinnier than I normally do my gift socks. And it's a little, my friend who I do knit 56 stitch, this would be too bright for her. She tends to like, you know, deeper, darker colors. But so this, you've already seen this full sock. I had picked it up and started working on it again. I've in the middle of the heel flap. So this is a vanilla sock, which is why it probably hasn't gotten done. If I was smart, I would have finished this before I started the ones for my son. But like I said, I like to get the man socks out of the way as early in the season as possible and start thinking about my gift knitting for Christmas 2024. That way I get to have that only knit for me December. You have to plan ahead if you want to do this. I don't want to be preachy, but a lot of you were like, oh, that's such a great idea. It is a great idea. You should do it. Get your gift knitting done before December. Bossy, 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 bossy. Okay. And I'm just going to show you this last sock. I don't really have a design chat section per se because I started working on, I cast on with the DK yarn from Cami Jo Knit. Camilla very kindly sent me a package of goodies, and this is her DK sock in the colorway Njord. So one random day that I had off in December, I decided I was going to cast it on and pull up the software and start charting it and designing this sock in the middle of a super busy month where I was doing Vlogmas. Shake your head. This is as far as I got, and I don't like the pattern, so I'm ripping it out. But the rib will stay. It's not quite that bright, but it's a lovely tonal navy blue. So I will get back to that this month, I think. Yeah, I'm not feeling the need to design at the minute. I'm not sure what's going on. I know I'm going to have a busy spring with things, so I just need to, I don't know if I'm just kind of building up energy for that. Knit City Montreal, there'll be some collaborations coming, and I don't have the yarn or inspiration for all of that stuff yet. So I'd like to say, because this is DK sock yarn, it needs to be out in the winter. Oh, and this is my Rosie's Moment sheep bag. that I got at the Southern Wool Show when I was in England was that still August? Or was it September? It was September, beginning of September. Such a great time. So again, having all the memories. But so there is no real design chat. This is on the needles, but not really on the needles. So I need to put some brain space into that and see if I can't wrangle that into shape and get something into testing so we can have a DK sock maybe in February. Maybe in February. And last but not least for my whips, in my beautiful bag that's made by my friend Donna. She doesn't have an Etsy shop, but if you've been to any local shows, she does vend at some local shows in the summer and fall. Yeah, it's this beautiful wax canvas on the bottom and really pretty florals. I had my Isabel Kramer Cloudsley in that hot pink. That was the bag that this went into. This isn't hot pink, but I really like this bag and I was feeling the need for some florals. So it went into there. I finally cast on my Zweig with the full realization it is not going to fit my post-Christmas body. But this post-Christmas body will be sorted out soon because vegetables and fruit have come back into my house. The cheese is almost gone. The croissants, the squares, the cookies, the cake. Reality has reestablished itself in my household or in my diet. Not a diet, in my food planning. And it's time to get back to normal. So I am making the size 5 for... Oh, goodness. It'll all be my Ravelry notes. I forgot to look before I came on here and hit record. I can't remember what size I cast on. Truth be told, it's very helpful, isn't it? I will look it up and put it on the screen, so if you don't have to go to my Ravelry page and look at it if you don't want to. I did go off-piste a little bit, so let me just show you what we've got here. So Zweig by Caitlin Hunter. It's a top-down colorwork and lace yoke pattern. I have knit it once before. I was wearing it during Vlogmas. I have worn it on the podcast before. I'll put a picture in here. So that's the back there. Yeah. So I am about 2/3 of the way through the lace yoke. The yarn I am using is Circus Tonic Handmade in the Jubilee sock. The colorway is Moonshell. So really nice, lightly variegated. Got shots of that dark navy in there, as well as the pinks and the golds. And then I had, this is Deep Stash, it's blowing out. Deborah from Yarn Indulgences brought this base in for us to play with and try. And I do have a couple other options in this one. One is a sweater quantity. This is 65% silk, 35% mohair. It's a fingering to sport weight gauge. So you can see from there, that's pretty good. It is quite tonal because the silk obviously takes the dye differently. But I thought they were a great match together. And I wanted a little fluff. So, this is where I'm at. So you got the lace work. I'm just into this nice twisted rib section in the center. I've got stitch markers in on every lace repeat to make it easier to keep track of where I am. You can kind of see the little ring markers all the way along. So I test knit this for Caitlin Hunter back in 2015, 2016, can't remember. And I wanted to make some changes. Knowing what I know now about the fit of sweaters that I like, I wanted to make some changes. I was going through project pages on Ravelry, and there is a Ravelry project page that I will try to link in my project page that used Isabel Kramer's Laya, which I knit earlier last year. I'm getting used to this 2023, 2024 thing. I knit a purple Laya by Isabel Kramer. I love the way Isabel's yokes and collars fit. I wasn't necessarily happy with the fit on my first Zweig. And this Ravelry user had used the cast-on neckband short rows increases from Laya and then went on to the Zweig pattern, which is what I did. I have quite extensive notes on my Ravelry page. I usually cast on a size smaller for the neckband anyway, and then increase out from there. So there are some comments on different project pages on Zweig about Caitlin Hunter's short rows and this kind of way the increases are done. They're done too rapidly, which gives you this kind of really funnel kind of effect, and the fit can be problematic. Mine is okay, but I wanted to improve it. So this is what I've done. I've cast on. I already owned the Laya pattern, so it was easy enough for me to do. I cast on, started doing the Laya increases, did the short rows from Laya, did increases again, and got to where I needed to be to start the Zweig color work. So obviously I needed to have the right number of stitches here. So the last increase round that I used from the Laya pattern, I adjusted. I needed however many, I needed 22 stitches to get me up to the stitch count I needed for my size for the Zweig. So I used a great calculator on the internet, on the interwebs. It's a knitting increase calculator or decrease. I can't remember what I Googled to find it, but I've used it before. And I typed in this many stitches, I need to increase to this many stitches, and it tells you how often, how frequently you need to do your increases. So knit 4, increase, knit 8, 10 times, increase, knit 4. You know, it gives you the whole, it lays it all out so you don't have to do the math in your head. So you've got evenly spaced decreases, because my increases did not fit the Laya or the Zweig pattern. I had to kind of come in between because my Laya stitch count was higher. So I needed less increases to get me to the final count for Zweig. Make sense? So that is what I've done. So I've got a nice short row section at the back and around to the front. And I actually think I did one extra set of short rows to make it just a little bit higher at the back, because I like it a little higher on my neck. And then I've just done, according to the Zweig pattern, I have done the color work section and gone into the lace. There was increases in here and increases in the lace. And when I get to sleeve separation, I will do my usual moving stitches from the back of the yoke to the front of the sweater to make more room for my chest, to accommodate that. I have had a few questions about that, and the best way I can describe it is basically I'm moving my sleeves back. So my back section itself is smaller, my front section has more stitches, is bigger. So just for sake of example, I'm going to have 180 stitches on the back, and I'm going to have 220 on the front. I do the math. I figure it out for my gauge, and then I measure from my armpit around the front of me and my armpit across the back, and then use my gauge, get the stitch count, and then I know how many stitches I need to move from the back to the front to accommodate my chest without having to do short rows. I know there are ways to do short rows to make bust darts. I've only done it once and it wasn't successful for me. So for yoke sweaters, this works for me to move those stitches. So that's Zweig. It's in progress. We're going to talk about it a whole lot more as I keep working through it, as I separate and all of that. So that is what I have been knitting since I have seen you last. I have to say, Vlogmas, it certainly cut down my crafting time that I had, but I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of positive feedback. So I think I will do it again next year. I know vlogs aren't necessarily everybody's cup of tea, but I do enjoy those little short snippets over December when I don't have time to watch a full podcast. So I got better at the process, you know, the upload, the editing and the uploading. I got smarter at as I went, so I got more efficient, and that was really good lessons for me. Plus trying to figure out what to film, what to record. I'm less of the atmospheric music, beautiful Christmas scenery, and more just a sit down, plunk chat. Here's my daily life. Combining it into multiple days was also great. I thank you all for your comments and the chit chat that we had over the holiday period. And yeah, I did enjoy it more than I ever expected to. I said when I was here last, I'd done the first 5 days and I wasn't enjoying the experience. But once I tweaked the way I was doing it, really enjoyed it after that. And it became second nature to pick up my camera and record things. Those first few days after Christmas, I kept going to pick up my camera. I'm like, oh, there's nobody to show that to anymore. I could have done it for B-roll. I did a couple things. There'll have been some perhaps Archie footage at the beginning, or it might be at the end. I can't remember what I recorded. Okay, waffle. That's it for the knitting content. I have some spinning to show you. That is back here. So I spun through December the banana blend Rolag. I'll put a picture in here. And I did it as a 2-ply. And this is it finished. There we go. So I spun the singles and then 2-plied it. I haven't taken it off the bobbin or washed it or thwacked it or measured it, but this is as far as I got with it. And then promptly forgot about it and put something else on my little wheel. I was looking for something special to spin during Twixtmas, between Christmas and New Year's, because I did have some days off. Our store was closed between Christmas and New Year's. I had to go to work for a few hours one of the days, but I was gifted a set of Rolags from lovely Kirsty from the Wool and Wishes podcast, who I met at the Southern Wool Show last September 2023. So the Rolags, there's a picture of them here with me spinning in process. Kirsty and her daughter made these for me. It was 47 grams of Rolags, Merino, Corriedale, and other breeds. And Kirsty had told me that her and her daughter had looked at my Instagram feed and they picked colors based on me. And let's let that, there we go. This beautiful soft blue with the purples and the pinks. It was a joy to spin, especially with those memories attached to them. So thank you so much, Kirsty. And I am still pondering whether I'm going to ply this with some natural mohair or if I'm just going to ply it back on itself. I haven't decided yet, which is probably why it's still sitting like this. I'm pondering. It's only 47 grams, so if I apply it back on itself, it would, I'd probably get a sport weight. Might be enough for a pair of fingerless mitts or something for color work. Isn't that what I say with all of my hand spun? Oh, it'd be great in color work. So both of these were spun out on my electric eel wheels from Dreaming Robot. This is on my Nano. And I spun the singles. This one, I spun the singles on my Nano. And then I plied it on my big electric eel wheel 6. I love both of these wheels, but I find I spin more. Sorry, it said video stopped, but I see it's still going. I had a phone call come through. My apologies, you just saw my big fat finger hitting the disconnect. So spinning. And then we have gifts acquisitions. So if you, oh, hang on. I was about to say, don't go away yet. Before I go to that and say goodbye, if you don't want to see woolly, baggy, gifty things that I picked up or got over the holiday season, February 9th and 10th of 2024 in New Brunswick, if you are in southern New Brunswick and we have talked, or if you're interested, even if we haven't talked, we're hosting a There's a few of us, Deborah from Yarn Indulgences, Sophie from Cozy Meadow, Menon from La Violette Knits. We've been talking about doing this for a while, a knitting weekend away. So Menon got in touch with us and asked dates. So the four of us have been kind of planning, and we've been talking in the NB Knitters Instagram group. If you are from Southern New Brunswick and are interested in knitty events in the south of New Brunswick in Canada, reach out to me and I will put you in that group so you get all of the information. So we're having a knitting weekend at in Sussex, which is a good central kind of meeting point for most of us. We have a conference room booked. We have rooms booked at a local hotel, and we are going to knit, and we're going to do a little shopping. We're going to go and check out the fudge factory. May have to put aside my no sugar plans for fudge. We're going to drink wine. We're going to play some trivia and some games, and we're still working on a formal agenda. But if you are in my area and you are not part of that group and would like to be or interested in that weekend, please let us know, let me know, and I will make sure you get that information. So that's coming up next month, and I'm super excited. I will definitely take footage from that weekend. Manon, Sophie, and I are talking about doing a podcast together, but it won't be that weekend. But the three of us thought it would be fun to sit down all together and do a podcast. TBD. No dates decided. So the thing I'm down to is acquisitions. If you watched Vlogmas, I was very lucky. I spent a day or so. I went up to visit Sam in Fredericton and was very lucky to be able to stop by and see Amanda, sweet skein of mine, who killed Vlogmas. I don't know how she does it with that social schedule. I've said it before. God love her. And she very kindly gifted me a skein of yarn. I felt terrible because I forgot to take my gift in all of the packing shenanigans. And it's one of her Christmas colorways. To all a good night. 80-20. Whoop. Come on. You're really, oh, goodness gracious. So this is Amanda's fingering weight. It is getting very dark out, which is why my camera is now very much struggling. So beautiful skein of sock yarn, which I will pop into my stash and will happily knit someday soon. So thank you again, Amanda. And then I did I think I've mentioned before, Emily from Turtle Pearl is, hang on one second, sorry for, should have done that before, is local to me, and we have been doing some barters because she's been shopping in my local business, and I love a good barter me. So she delivered, I think I had showed you the rainbow one last time. These were the ones that were outstanding. Yes, I have talked to you about this before because I was waiting to get these ones. So this is what I was talking about. 250 gram matching self-striping skeins. So this is striped turtle toes with the contrasting mini. And this is the colorway Crushed. Gorgeous. So that's one of them. And then the other is Dream Room. Beautiful turquoise with that shot of the yellow. And it knits up like that. So those came home with me. And there will be more coming because we've been doing some more barters. So stay tuned. I think next time I will be doing a giveaway for one of Emily's sock sets. No giveaways today because I'm still trying to get the last two cleaned up. And then, I can't believe it, but I won another giveaway on Instagram. This one was from Polka Dot Creek, who is a Canadian dyer out in Western Canada, and also a bag maker. So I won a Christmas vacation sock and bag set. So Christmas Vacation is not my favorite Christmas movie. I have watched it multiple times. It's not my favorite. So I am going to save this and do it as a giveaway, probably for something in Christmas in July. I don't want to wait until next October or November to send this out and do a giveaway. So this is going to go into my stash. I won it. It was very generous, but I would like to pass it along to somebody because I am very lucky in my stash, and thought it could go to somebody who really wanted it. Not that I don't really want it. That sounds bad. Just spreading the love, passing it on. So this is in a Ziploc bag to be stored safely until we get to that point later in the year. I'm trying to figure out where to put this now because I have piles on either side of me. I've showed you quite a lot today. I have the second last thing. This was a Christmas gift for me from Deborah of Yarn Indulgences. Whoop, there we go. Very kindly gifted me a sweater quantity. It's an 80% superwash merino, 20% bamboo blend. This is not something she's going to be carrying in her shop. She'll just bring bases in every now and again to try out, and I'm very lucky I get to play with them. And she dyed me up this sweater quantity. It's more green. It's showing more blue on the screen. Yeah, it's not picking up the color. Like I said, I'm losing my light. I've talked entirely too long, but it's gorgeous. I will take an actual photo and put it in here in the daylight. So that's probably tomorrow, which means editing me is not going to get this uploaded tonight. Darn it. Okay. And then I got Happy Mail today. It's probably been in the mailbox. Actually, it's probably been in the mailbox most of the week. I just haven't had time to get to my mailbox. In Canada, we have community mailboxes most of the time. So they can just, so I'm just breaking into this. I ordered from Penelope at Yellow Petal Handmade. All of my knitting friends, locally knitting friends, have ordered from Penelope before. If you've watched Sophie, Cozy Meadow Knits, if you follow Wheelhouse Knits or Leanne Duguay on Instagram, you will have seen these bags. This is my first time ordering from Penelope. Lovely little sticker. I figured I would do a live unbagging here to show you. Penelope had a Boxing Day sale, and I very happily took advantage of that so that I didn't feel left out of the Yellow Petal Handmade family. So I got this beautiful Rifle Paper Company. It's a drawstring bag. How satisfying is that? The perfect small project bag. It has pockets on the inside. There's Penelope's label. And I've got a little card here. A lovely little note on the back to say thank you for supporting her small business. I definitely will enjoy my bag, Penelope. Thank you. And one of these cool corner bookmarks that matches my knitting bag. I've been seeing these from Leanne and Heather and Sophie, and I'm so glad I finally have one too. Thank you so much, Penelope, for the very thoughtful packaging and the note. Lovely. Lovely. Oh, color is completely gone. All right. Wow. There's a mess around me. I've chatted for an hour and 15 minutes. Actually, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, which makes me fear I have talked too fast. I am going to love you and leave you. And I will be back in 3 weeks with more knitting, perhaps a design, some finished projects, spinning, who knows what I'll get up to. I know one thing, unfortunately, it will not be crochet. I really enjoyed that granny project. My lighting still hasn't come back. It is now seriously dark out there. I'm going to stop rambling and say goodbye. Thank you for being here. I so appreciate you coming and spending some time with me and chatting in the comments. Liking, subscribing, all of that means the world because I do enjoy being here and doing this. Happy knitting, my friends. Happy sipping. And I will see you very soon. Cheers.